My name's Mark Patterson, and I'm the director of the Autonomous Systems Laboratory, which is part of the College William and Mary. But I also was an entrepreneur for 10 years. I co-founded a company that was the first on the planet to make free-swimming underwater robots. The technology has a formal name. It's called Autonomous Underwater Vehicles, or AUVs is the acronym. And for 10 years, we were a manufacturing business, a small high-tech startup that was selling something that had never been available for sale before. So one change we encountered during the 10 years we were in existence was how we actually competed for government contracts. At the start, in the late 90s, if we wanted to sell or try and sell a robot to the U.S. government, you usually had to send in piles and piles of paper. So we spent a lot of time on word processors, making well-written documents with embedded graphics, and then oftentimes there'd be like 20 copies required. So we would go to copy shops like Kinko's or Staples and get these things put into nice-looking binders and, you know, use the color copier to make it look really nice. And then you'd mail all that off and keep your fingers crossed that you would get to the next stage of the competition. But probably around 2000, 2001, I'm not sure if this was driven by changes in the U.S. government. There was a Paperwork Reduction Act that Congress passed, which may have had something to do with it, but suddenly, instead of having to mail on paper anymore, when we were competing against others for selling our wares, instead we would fill out online forms, and then even the proposal or description of the robot itself that we were trying to sell the government, that would all be uploaded as electronic documents. And suddenly there was no more running to Kinko's or other copy shops to get our jobs done. We were doing everything over the internet. So the company had a successful 10-year run. We sold a handful of these robots. The robots are quite expensive. They're anywhere from $250,000 to $500,000 each.
My name is Scott Hammond. I'm the Vice President of Strategy and Business Development for Cloud Computing for Cisco Systems. So in that position at Cisco, I'm responsible for the 3-year strategy and roadmap for the business. So it's planning our strategic direction, our product roadmap, our build, buy, and acquisition strategy. Also, I'm responsible for our business relationships with other divisions within Cisco, plus our large partners. I'm also responsible for the revenue side of the house, so the sales organization, channel partnerships, go-to-market strategy with them, and then how our business unit is positioned and marketed in the industry. So advances in technology have had a significant impact on the marketing function in our business, I'm sure in other companies over the last few years. If you think about marketing, the primary function of marketing is to establish information about your products and services, communicate them to your customers and your partners, and establish features and functions and differentiating capabilities about your solution, and then make sure that it's represented in the right distribution channels and sales organizations that tend to sell your products. Another part of marketing is to reach out to potential companies, potential customers, and communicate to them what your solution does and its differentiating value to those organizations and drive them into the sales process. So a function called lead generation. You're finding new prospects, new customers you're going to sell your products or services to. So the big change in technology that's impacted our business over the last 10 years or so has been the internet. It's really caught on. Every organization in the world is using it now, and it's had a huge impact on marketing. So the first is prior to using the internet, when you wanted to communicate information about your products or services, you needed to often manually write down or create marketing brochures and marketing advertisements that would communicate and describe your products and services for your potential customers. And they used to be done, a lot of your investments in marketing were made by spending your money on advertisements in newspapers and magazines. Today, there's very little money spent in advertising budgets on magazines and newspapers because most of the media has moved online into the internet. You certainly notice that if you pick up a newspaper today or a magazine, over the last 10 years, at least 50% of the magazines and newspapers have gone out of business because very few companies are spending a lot of money on advertisements anymore. So now you put, instead of spending it on sort of physical print media, you now spend it online. So you have your own website, plus you create advertisements and promotions that you put on other companies' websites, or you put in email advertisements that you send around, or you write articles that you then get published on various online media websites. So that technology has changed where the marketing dollar is spent, and it has greatly impacted your ability to reach customers much more effectively. So just in the advertising business, when you're advertising your products or services, we often refer to a metric of how much money you have to spend to generate a qualified lead or prospect for your product or service. And it used to be pretty expensive if you were doing it through print media, like printed magazines or newspapers, as compared to the cost of doing it today through your internet-based media, online websites, or email campaigns. And it's probably 10% of the cost it used to be, plus by using the internet, using these different online advertising tools, you can reach another 10 times or order of magnitude more prospective customers. So it's had a huge impact. So if you're starting a business today, you're probably not going to spend your money, your advertising budget on hard print, hard copy advertisements. It's just too expensive. So instead, you'd look for online media, online websites, or online promotional sites, or email campaigns, because you can reach more customers, and the cost per lead is about a tenth of what it used to be.